In a few months here, I'll be taking a trip to Alaska, and it dawned on me that this will be the 37th US state I've spent time in. I've seen and tasted the considerable depth and breadth of America's culinary landscape, so it's time to rate them accordingly. So this is the definitive state food tier list. I'll be using Insider Foods' most iconic foods in every state, which is just dog shit YouTube clickbait journalism, where people from Manhattan do as little research as humanly possible, or just name the first foods that come to mind for places they've never actually been. I'll then rate their choices and the foods themselves on a scale of S to this is some bullshit. And unlike those assholes, if I haven't eaten the foods, I won't offer my opinion on them because I have more integrity than a channel with more than 3,000 times as many subscribers. So make sure you like and subscribe. Alabama, smoked chicken and white sauce. Kicking things off, we have one that many people look at and go, huh? Yes, that is a white barbecue sauce. In the Carolinas, it's vinegar-based. Kansas City and other places, it's tomato-based. And fairly or not, Alabama is known for their mayonnaise-based white barbecue sauce. I've only ever seen it used on smoked chicken, and while it's not as objectionable as it may first seem, it's going into the D tier because smoked chicken is one of life's simple pleasures that only gets worse the more you fuck around with it. Alaska, salmon. Wow, you guys really went the extra mile in the research department. What, did you look at a can of cat food? So I will let you know once I've been there. Arizona, Sonoran dog. A hot dog wrapped in bacon, grilled and topped with a bunch of Mexican-inspired toppings. Haven't tried them, but they're also popular in Los Angeles and sold by unlicensed street vendors who are leaving uncooked bacon out at wildly unsafe temperatures, garnering the nickname Danger Dogs. I've never been to Arizona, but I can't imagine people there would be happy this represents their state. Arkansas, cheese dip. Yeah, this one's accurate. So much so that at many local restaurants, your server will take your drink order and just offer you chips and queso like it's bread. Though it's usually a white queso, not this shit. Also, C tier. California, avocados. What? No, that's not an iconic food, it's an ingredient. California has a world-renowned wine country and 9 of the 13 Michelin star restaurants in the entire country. It's also absurdly massive, with ridiculously diverse food cultures. And you think the most iconic food is an avocado? This is some bullshit. Colorado, Rocky Mountain oysters. No, that's not the most iconic food from Colorado. Here, I'll show you. Balut is the famously horrific street food that consists of a half-formed chicken that you eat from its shell. It's found in the Philippines, but no one in their right mind would say it represents Filipino food, and you immediately know what I'm talking about. Rocky Mountain oysters are just a weird food you can find some places in Colorado, while the rest of the state has some of the best food I've ever had. This is some bullshit. Connecticut. New Haven-style clam pizza. Never been, but apparently New Haven-style pizza is vastly superior to New York. I also have an immediate appreciation for this because clams prepared simply and with few ingredients is usually amazing. On my bucket list, but never tried it. Delaware, chicken and slippery dumplings. Lived here for a decade and never once heard this expression. This just looks like chicken and dumplings, which you can find all over the East Coast, Midwest, and it's usually best in Amish country. Also, it's not great anyway, D tier. Florida, Cuban sandwich. I've already reviewed the Cuban sandwich as a slightly overrated, somewhat imbalanced sandwich. See my sandwich tier list for more info. As a food in general, C tier. Georgia, peach cobbler. Another case of, oh, Georgia, peaches. Yeah, go with that. Just off the top of my head, lemon pepper wings would be a much better representative. Peach cobbler is pretty good, though, B tier. Hawaii, poke. Okay, story time. We took a vacation to visit some family members who were stationed in Hawaii. Saw the islands, ate good food, cool, right? Well, the problem is that one family member is extremely allergic to any and all seafood, which pretty much wiped out anything with any Asian influence. It meant that during this once-in-a-lifetime vacation, we mostly ate at Denny's or other non-Hawaiian restaurants. So one night we're exploring the streets of Honolulu, and I slip away from the group, find a poke street vendor, buy a bowl, and duck into an alley to eat it, hunched down like a drug addict. Poke is everything that's great about sushi, only presented like a proper meal, and not Legos by a chef with severe autism. S tier. Idaho, potatoes. Wow, y'all really just didn't give a fuck with this one, huh? Like people in Idaho are just biting into raw potatoes like an apple. Though to be fair, I've been to Idaho at least a dozen times and I usually got Popeyes. Still, this is some bullshit. Illinois, Chicago deep dish. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the most iconic, still not very good. I tried both the most famous Lou Malnati's and the most acclaimed Pequod's, and I really couldn't detect much of a difference because it's a giant fucking mess. C tier. Indiana, pork tenderloin sandwich. Been there once, had this once, don't really get it, D tier. Iowa, made right sandwich. So, a dry, sloppy Joe. A Joe? A hamburger that wasn't built to code? Come on, Iowa, there is simply no way this represents you, D tier. Kansas, barbecue ribs. Holy shit, I'm no barbecue historian, but I can't imagine Missourians are happy about this, considering the best barbecue pork ribs in the country are attributed to them. But barbecue ribs A tier? Kentucky, hot brown. White trash croque monsieur, probably offensive in 2 countries, D tier. Louisiana, gumbo. Yeah, they got this one right, S tier. Holy shit, gumbo is incredible. Maine, lobster roll. Hey, fun fact, did you know that monkfish was once one of the cheapest junk fishes you could eat? Until people discovered that its meat tasted exactly like lobster. Seriously, it's this gigantic, ugly lobster with no shells or claws. Now it's ridiculously expensive because that's just how the world works. Anyway, I've never been there, so I probably haven't had a real lobster roll. Maryland, crab cake. Gonna bring shame to my family name, but yeah, crab cakes are just okay. To me, if you need a signature blend of spices just to enjoy a meat, that meat probably isn't that good. B tier. Massachusetts, clam chowder. Assuming this is New England clam chowder and not Manhattan or Rhode Island clam chowder, New England clam chowder really is one of the world's greatest soups, provided it isn't too creamy because that just washes out the taste of the sea and fucking ruins it. S tier. Michigan, Mackinac Island fudge. Okay, never been there, never heard of this. Sounds like somebody in the office went there for vacation once as a kid and decided it represents the entire state of Michigan. Minnesota, tater tot hot dish. Would have assumed the Juicy Lucy would get the nod here. Never been to Minnesota, but wish I had because this truly sounds disgusting and an absolute disgrace to food everywhere. Mississippi, fried catfish. Regular viewers already know, but S tier. Fuck yeah. Fried catfish is delicious and made all the more delicious if you've ever tried catfish that wasn't deep fried. It's slimy and gross and makes you appreciate deep frying all the more. Missouri, toasted raviolis. Holy fuck, that barbecue rib snub is 10 times worse now. Fried raviolis are a very niche thing in St. Louis. You fucking slap this onto a state known for god-tier barbecue. This is bullshit. Montana, huckleberry. Again, no, this is a crop that you Googled as having come from the state of Montana. That doesn't mean people in Montana are eating huckleberries every other day. This is bullshit. Nebraska, chili with a cinnamon roll. Now see, here you have an actual regional food oddity, something most people don't know about, and which is only done in a particular part of the country. And as strange as it seems to be eating a cup of chili with a cinnamon roll, it's good. I mean, cinnamon is what gives Skyline chili its unique flavor. Not great, but B tier. Nevada, the buffet. Oh, come on, you're not even trying. First of all, does that make Golden Corral Nevadian cuisine? Secondly, the best buffets are called smorgasbords and they're found in Amish country. If you don't know or can't be bothered to learn about the foods from a place, don't pretend that you do. This is bullshit. New Hampshire, cider donuts. Haven't been there, haven't had them. See, how hard was that? New Jersey, saltwater taffy. Okay, you literally thought of New Jersey, which made you think of beaches, which made you think of saltwater taffy. Your New York bias is showing. New Jersey actually has a ton of good food all over, including some of the best wings and pizza. They love their Taylor ham and pork roll sandwiches. They even have their own version of the cheesesteak that comes on a seeded roll, and many people consider it superior to Philly. I mean, I don't, but this is some bullshit. New Mexico, green chili. Again, this is a crop, one which New Mexico is known for, yes, but one which the people use to make many delicious foods. Hatch chilies are fucking amazing, but since I haven't been there, I can't say what the best of those would be, because I have integrity. New York, pizza. I'd be willing to bet that a ton of New Yorkers would prefer to be represented by the New York bagel, since many places can produce a decent pizza, but fine. New York pizza or New York style pizza, A tier. North Carolina, barbecue. Barbecue has an infinite number of meanings, definitions, and styles. So, attributing barbecue to North Carolina would be like attributing all of bread to France. Doing your job for you, you probably mean whole hog barbecue, and you probably mean with a slightly tangier sauce whose sharpness cuts the rich fattiness of pork. And it's a B tier. Sorry, but to me barbecue pork always smells 10 times better than it tastes. North Dakota, Knofla soup. Okay, nice work. You found a dish most people don't know about, and yeah, it's just chicken and dumplings with potatoes. Who cares? D tier. Ohio, Buckeye. And we're back to not giving an utter fuck. It's the Buckeye State, so the Buckeye, chocolate and peanut butter, and we don't care. Even at your absolute laziest, you should have chosen Skyline Chili. This is some bullshit. Oklahoma, chicken fried steak. I mean, most people attribute this recipe as having been invented in Texas, but Oklahoma made it their official state meal in 1988, which, damn, that's kind of pathetic. I've never been to Oklahoma, but I've had enough chicken fried steak to say it belongs in the A tier. Oregon, Marionberry pie. Lived in Oregon for 4 years and barely ever saw a Marionberry anything on a menu. Marionberries were created by the USDA in partnership with Oregon State University in the 1950s, but that doesn't mean the people of Oregon even give a shit. This is bullshit. Pennsylvania, the cheesesteak. S tier, I'm biased, fuck you. Cheesesteaks are great, and if you want to know where to get the best one, you can't, because the best one is from the neighborhood pizza shop you grew up going to, and if you didn't grow up with one, you don't have one to call the best. Rhode Island, stuffed clams. Never had them. South Carolina, low country boil. Wow, there have to be a ton of people who are pissed at you because low country boils are something taken very seriously in a lot of places. But I'll take some of the heat off you because I never really saw the hype of dumping an entire grocery store into a pot of broth, then dumping that onto a giant piece of butcher paper and picking at it like the apocalypse was last week and you're fighting off death. C tier. South Dakota, Chislic. Holy fuck. And speaking of utterly primeval, here's South Dakota with tiny pieces of meat on toothpicks. Wow, you New York types really don't think much of rural, flyover parts of the country, do you? You guys know that there are a bunch of indigenous tribes with their own unique food traditions here, right? This is bullshit. Tennessee, Memphis ribs. Barbecue ribs as a genre belong in the A tier. Memphis-style dry rubbed ribs? That's S tier, good shit. Texas, barbecue. Again, you lazy fucks! Texas-style barbecue usually means beef, minimal spices, brisket, beef ribs. I've had it, and it's great, but I haven't been to Texas, so unfortunately it has to go in the haven't had it tier. Utah, Jell-O. Look, Utah isn't exactly known as a bastion of gastronomic innovation, but at a certain point you may as well just say, fuck Utah. Jell-O is gross, D tier. Vermont, maple syrup. Ah, yes, I too like to sit back on a hot day and enjoy a nice tall glass of maple syrup. Or on a cold winter's night, enjoy a nice hot hearty bowl of maple syrup. This isn't a food, it's a condiment, but I haven't been there. Virginia, Smithfield ham. Hello, Google. Hi, lazy journalism. The state of Virginia is utterly massive, with parts that feel like an entirely different country from other parts. They also claim to have invented the Brunswick stew, and if you want to go the lazy Virginia ham route, they typically enjoy them on buttermilk biscuits, but this is bullshit. Washington, coffee. Did you know Starbucks was founded in Washington? Yeah, we don't need to try beyond that for our dog shit YouTube video. If you wanted to be not completely lazy, the state of Washington is known for their smoked salmon, Dungeness crab, and many in the Seattle area take their teriyaki chicken very seriously. This is bullshit. West Virginia, pepperoni roll. I honestly can't find anything more important than the pepperoni roll, so as sad as that is, D tier. Wisconsin, cheese curds. These things are genuinely gross to me, as they have both a weird texture but also don't taste like anything. A 1-2 combo of why the fuck are we eating these? D tier. Frozen custard would have been a better choice here in my opinion. Wyoming, bison steak. I think the preferred method for cooking bison is to make burgers out of it rather than steak, but sure, okay. It's a steak, slightly more gamey and not as fatty, which makes it better or worse depending on your worldview. C tier. But what do you think? Did this bullshit do your state proud? Did I? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you when I see you.